Okay, hello everyone, and
Uh,
welcome. Thank you for joining us today. This webinar, Leveling Up Mobile Game Marketing, Key Shifts and Trends for 2026, is brought to you by Social Beta in collaboration with Torox, Replug, One Games, and Fox Data. My name is Taffy Gabriela, and I'm a business development manager at Fox Data, and I'll be your moderator for today. To get us started, I will invite each of our speakers to briefly introduce themselves. So, Yevgeny Fornik, COO at Torox, please go ahead.
Hi, first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for hosting this great event, this great webinar with these great people. I'm Evgeny. I've been at Torox for over 5 years. I started as a junior account manager, then moved into leading the demand team. Today, I'm the CEO of the company, climbed the corporate ladder. A little bit about Torox. We rewarded user acquisition and engagement platform. We help mobile games to bring high value users. And on the monetization side, we help studios and also apps generate some, let's say, some money from their currency from the non-paying users. In my role, I sit on both sides of the business, also the demand and also the supply. Torox is a company, we do CPI, CPE, so teams can optimize like a real progression, long-term value, and not just installs. We currently work with closely to 30 plus game developers and a wide network of rewarded publishers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yevgeny. Next is Lorenzo Rossi, co-founder at Replug. Please introduce yourself.
Only B2C, sir.
Hi, good
Sorry.
morning or good afternoon.
Only
And
B2C. I
thanks a
don't
lot for inviting me
I
for
don't have
this.
B2C.
I called it the last dance of the year. I am very happy for this webinar. Thanks for organizing it. I am the co-founder of Replug. We are an app marketing agency based in Berlin, but active in all around the world, so to say. Help mobile apps, gaming and non-gaming in scaling paid and organic user acquisition across
Mainly
the
B2B.
core like Meta, TikTok, Apple Search Ads, but also across the alternative channels, we call them, like Yevgeny was mentioning, all the rewarded DSPs, OEM. So yeah, we've been around for several years, and we have helped a lot of clients scaling in this crazy mobile marketing world.
Okay, that's amazing, Lorenzo. And okay, Dravka Dimitrova, business development manager at One Games. Please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Steffi. I can say is today the gap between I'll be speaking more on the publishing development side of things. So the gap between having a great game and having a successful business is getting wider. And this is because of various reasons, which the other participants will also comment on. But, competition is getting higher, user acquisition is expensive. So having a great game, unfortunately, is not enough anymore. It's very tough. My role as a game scout at One is to look for games with potential and respectively help the developers grow for the long term. When we started One in 2011, we built a reputation helping developers succeed in China. After that, we expanded and grew. We successfully published indie titles like Ski Safari, Rodeo Stampede. We operated blockbuster titles like Transformers Earth Wars. And all those titles, they actually thrive for more than decades now. So what's the key lesson? The lesson is that actually a game can last for not only weeks or months at the stores, but it can last for decades if you know how to operate it. So at One, our mission is to bring great games to players and to also help developers thrive for the long term. And I'm very grateful to be here today because I can see that we'll go past the theory of gaming attracting users, keeping them happy, and we'll go and jump into some practical tips and real strategies for 2026. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you, Dravka. And then next, but not least,
Yes.
Katai
Yes.
Gokar,
This is Carl.
Key Account Manager at Social Beta. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chautai. I'm the key account manager of Social Pata in MENA region. So for those who do not know about Social Pata, we are a leading ad intelligence platform, and we are working closely with top brands and publishers in both gaming and non-gaming mobile ecosystem. Today, I'll try to provide insights about the 25, and I'm thrilled to share some actionable creative insights about the trends today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for joining us today once again. And before we move into the discussion, I would like to briefly set the context based on what we are seeking. Basically, I also work in Fox Data, and Fox Data also a mobile marketing intelligence platform that helps game and app teams to analyze market trends, competitors, and user growth. We work closely with mobile app and also like game studios, app developers, user acquisition and growth teams, also publishers. Okay, and just to add a brief personal note, beyond working with data and market intelligence, I'm also a mobile game player myself. So before we jump into discussion, I want to briefly frame three themes we have consistently seen in 2025. Like the first one, a shift from more installs to better players and long-term value for sure. The second one, creatives evolving into a continuous system, not one-time hits. And the third one, retention and monetization being designed together, not separately. These themes will come up naturally in today's conversation. With that context in mind, let's begin the panel discussion. All right, the first question that I want to ask you guys, as 2025 comes to an end, we've seen major shift in mobile game marketing as studios innovate, engage, and retain their players. Looking back at this year, what were the most defined change you observed in player behavior and marketing performance? And how will these key shifts shape the biggest opportunities for 2026? Let's start with Yevgeny.
Thank you. Thank you, Taifi, for this great question. So I will cover it in a few points. So with Torox as a company, we sit in the middle of everything, like between the game studios and the rewarded publishers. So in a nutshell, I think 2025 made the UA teams more serious and more strict. The first thing that we see that shifted, as you mentioned, that teams don't care anymore about like empty installs. They care more about what's happening after the install. And also, as Dravka mentioned it, the competition is high, the costs are really high. So CFOs want clarity. The second thing, as we may see with all the iOS and privacy thing, the tracking became less clean. The attribution is not clear as it used to be. So teams looking now at a few reports, only one thing.
Got emailing.
Third thing, and we also see in Torox, there are many games right now. The market is flooded with games. So players, they're willing to try games, but they will give you a little of their time. So the first session for game studios is really important. If the first session is confusing or slow or feels like some hassle, the user will leave. So this is really a shift that we see that came from actually from Supercell, that the first day really matters. And the fourth thing is the most important, the rewarded traffic became mainstream. But studios expect it to be clean because, rewarded traffic also leads sometimes to bad actors. Rewarded traffic, it's not some weird thing anymore. It's a genuine part of the user acquisition mix. What do I see for 2026? I think that one of the biggest opportunity in 2026 is to get more value from your existing users, from users that you already buy. Because most of the players, matter of fact, 97% of the players will never commit in a purchase, but they can still be valuable for the game studio. They engage with ads, they engage with offer walls inside the games, they taking part of communities, referrals, and sometimes in the late in a purchase. So the bottom line is the structure is simple: improve early retention and keep the users active, and then try to monetize them. This is what I see for 2026.
Okay, thank you, Yevgeny, for your valuable answer. And next one, Lorenzo, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yevgeny pictured 2025 quite well. It's been a hell of a year in terms of difficulty in promoting mobile games. Now, what we see from, I want to say, from an agency point of view, as we get to work with many different clients, it's not that there were drastic changes in the way we promote mobile games. I think the bar is just getting higher and higher. And I think two of the main factors are the ones that Yevgeny mentioned. So the tracking issues, but this is nothing new. It's getting more and more difficult to track and attribute results, but also the competition. So I think I read a study from a PC company, PC gaming company called Newzoo, and it's showing how the gaming time, the playing time of the user is decreasing drastically year over year since the pandemic. We know that during the pandemic, everyone was like, "Wow, people are playing so much." Yes, of course they were at home, but now it's getting back to normal. So if you combine this data with the competition, with the number of games that are being released every year, it's getting, in terms of paid user acquisition, is getting more and more difficult. Because what does it mean? It means that gaming studios are competing for player attention, not to get a download anymore. As Yevgeny was mentioning, like we need to be aware of what happens after the installs and how the user monetize. So this is one of the main thing that characterized 2025. The other main topic that we have seen being quite important is the creative production, which is connected to the first point, because with this amount of games available and all of them basically are trying to do paid user acquisition. I think Zdravka mentioned it in the introduction that you just it's not enough anymore to have a good game. You need to promote it. So everyone is trying to do it. But at the end of the day, with the AI power that in 2025 basically became a thing, we see more and more ads that look the same. I think I will talk about creatives a bit more later, but this is something that we need to understand, that AI is a powerful tool, but we need to be careful, because otherwise it's getting messy. A last thing in terms of shifts or trends that we have seen is monetization. Monetization, it was in a recent report from AppsFlyer. The in-app advertising model is kind of, I don't want to say disappearing, but it's less and less a standalone thing, and it's becoming a support for the in-app purchase model. What does it mean in terms of paid UA? Again, it means that you can afford to pay more if the in-app purchase is actually sustained with in-app advertising. And this is important because, again, competition and and all the other things that we mentioned before. In terms of PDUA, then Yevgeny mentioned it, like rewarded is a reality right now, so it cannot be ignored. And at the same time, like the channel diversification is something that is a must. It was something important in 2025. It's going to be a must in 2026. So this is what we are seeing, and it's basically connected to opportunities that we see in 2026. So channel diversification is important because you need to be able to diversify and use different channels to promote your game. Creatives is going to be crucial. It's an opportunity, but you need a structure, and of course connecting the PDUA activities to the first day of the user experience. Again, it's very important. First 72 hours are crucial. I think I'm done. I need to stop talking.
Thank you, Lorenzo. So we have like several answers, like get more value, competition, user acquisition, monetization, channel, creative, and also user experience. So what do you think, Chatai?
So that's a great question, and thank you very much for your insights, guys. So I will try to bring my perspective from the creative sites from the last year. So when we look at the data across the millions of assets we track at Social Peta, 2021 has really been defined with one massive shift. The move from creative production to creative velocity. So the biggest change in the marketing performance this year was the sheer volume required to retain player attention. So in 2025, the average mobile game advertiser had to produce 123 creatives per month, approximately, and that is nearly a 20% increase year over year. So if you look at the competitive genres like SLG, that number jumps up to over 300 creatives a month. So this tells us that player fatigue is accelerating and the shelf life of an ad is shorter than ever. In fact, nearly the 60% of the all monthly creatives we tracked were brand new. So marketers aren't just iterating the old winners, they are having to reinvent the wheel of every 30 days to just maintain the scale. So how did studios respond to this pressure last year? That brings us a second defining shift on the industrialization of authenticity with AI. So we observed that over the 90% of advertisers used AI this year. But not just to make the pretty pictures, they used it to manufacture human moments at scale. We saw a huge surge in street interview styles, dramatic stories, and AI-generated oral testimonies. Players are ignoring the polished cinematic trailers at the moment. They are engaging with the looks like user-generated content, hooky, lo-fi, narrative-driven clips that start with immediate drama in first 3 seconds. So I believe that next year the biggest opportunity lies in genre blurring in creatives. We saw that in the top performers like Kingshot and Royal Match. They didn't sell the core gameplay at all, so they sold a feeling. Kingshot, a hardcore war game, used satisfying, calm drawing puzzles hooks for users. So for the next year, the winners won't just be the one who has the biggest budgets. They will be the ones who can use AI to rapidly test these hybrid hooks, to finding the casual players who can be converted into mid-core spenders, or the era of the one ad fits it's all is over. So it's all about micro-targeting with massive creative volume. So that's all my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chatai. A new perspective about the acceleration and scaling up with AI. Maybe Drovka, do you have something new to add?
Yeah, I think thanks, Steffi. It resonates what Evgeny, Lorenzo, and Jatai already said. From working with studios from different backgrounds, different sizes, from indies to top publishers, based on what we see in our own games as well. If I need to summarize the change for 2025, it will be that we stopped buying installs and we actually started building those real gaming communities. So the era of just renting your audience quickly from another game is over, and the era of building real inhabitants in your game has begun. So I would say that from player behavior perspective, what has changed tremendously is that players expect connection and belonging from day one, and we need to cater for those needs. And it's actually, they get bored more easily, as the others commented. So they ignore generic ads, they ignore generic content. It all resonates with what the others already said, but that's what we see inside the game itself. And with user acquisition staying at expensive prices, we actually get lower attention. It's more difficult to grab the player attention. So I think exactly there is where the opportunities for 2026 lie. And the games which will win are the ones which are able to engage, retain their players, keep them happy, while monetizing them in a fair way, which is sustainable. And if you're able to turn your gaming community into an extension to the marketing engine, that's gonna be a great win. Thanks.
Thank you, Drovka. So, if I summarize all of your points, the focus is really shifting, right, from the volume to the quality. And this aligns with what we see in data actually. So, that's a great setup for our next questions, especially around monetization and player value. Okay, the question that I want to ask is to Yevgeny.
Yes.
Okay, Evgeny, Thorax work closely with both advertisers and publishers, supporting user acquisitions and rewarded engagement. With rewarded traffic becoming an increasingly important part of UA strategies, from your experience, what are the most effective ways game teams can improve the quality and predictability of their acquisition funnels?
Sorry. Before.
Thank you, Tiffy. Great question indeed. And I think this topic is interesting for many people. So obviously we can't break down rewarded traffic in a few minutes, but I will try to do my best and give you a taste of it. I will also break it down for a few points. So rewarded can be very strong UA channel, but it's work the best when gaming studios treats it like a real UA channel and not like some side dish. So in 5 points, this is I will tell to the UA managers. The first thing is you need to define what is quality user for you. The UA studios should pick 2 or 3 some early in-game events that matter. For example, finish tutorial, play certain amount of minutes in day one, reach certain level inside the game. Then tell your rewarded partner, this is what we want to optimize for. The second thing is treat the rewarded traffic as segmented channel, not one bucket. This is where most of the teams, I think, doing the mistake. Rewarded is not one source. It's many different publishers, audiences, behaviors. So as a UA team, you should ask your rewarded partner to split it. Run with whitelisted. Separate the top sources from the rest. Cap volume. Scale source by source, not all in once. In my opinion, this is the fastest way to turn rewarded traffic from random into something that is predictable. And the third point is you should start controlled. Don't scale too much. Start small, keep the volume stable. check early retention and progress, scale only the sources that stay consistent. Or I like to say, scale slowly, but cut quickly. The fourth thing, in my opinion, one of the important things, unfortunately, fraud is a reality in rewarded traffic because real money and real cash rewards and high incentives always attract bad actors. So it's really critical to work with a rewarded partner that has some strong anti-fraud tool and they know how to break things before it's scaled. So I would ask the rewarded partner, what do you exactly block? What is your anti-fraud tool? How fast can you cut sources? Do you monitor strange completion patterns? For example, at Torox, we ask for each game, each studio, each event, we ask for estimated completion time. So let's take, for example, certain game, level 50 typically takes 14 days. And we see some user that reaches in 3 days. That's a red flag for us, and we need to tackle it ASAP. So we need this feedback from the game studio. The fifth and the last thing is really simple. Have a weekly check-in with your rewarded partner once a week. Look at the basics, where user drops, which sources look different, what's changed since last week. Then agree on some one action point and test it again and review it again. So bottom line, rewarded traffic, it's high quality and predictable only when UA teams manage it with structure. That's it from my side. Thank you, Tefi.
Okay, thank you, Yevgeny. I think rewarded traffic is really, like the real answer here. And from a player perspective myself, the pacing and relevance of rewards really matters a lot. So you got that. I admit that one. All right, next question to Lorenzo. So Replat supports studios across creative testing and full funnel growth. With this cross-functional view, what do you see as the most common gaps in how game teams structure their growth system, and which part of the system tends to unlock the greatest uplift when optimized properly?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. And I want to start with what Yevgeny said as a last thing, structure. Because he said that teams need a structure for testing rewarded ads. I think that one of the main gap that we see in teams is that they're missing processes, they're missing a structure. And for what we have seen working with several apps, I think that there are three main gaps that we can cover and quickly. I think that the first one is the silos optimization, because paid UA team usually they optimize towards, I don't know, IPM, CPI, day one ROAS, this type of targets. Then you have maybe the monetization team that is optimizing by average revenue per daily active users. And then again, you have the product team who is looking at different values. So those are all great things to do. But if you don't have a structure that takes into account all those three optimization together, you're not going to grow efficiently. So this is the first thing that we see when we get in. Just we try to have an holistic view of the entire growth, because again, I mean, I think it's been covered by everyone. We don't care about the install anymore. We don't even care about just the first day. We care about the user who is downloading the app, having a great first experience in the first 24 to 48 hours, and keep playing within days and weeks and years. We have experience with some match 3 games with users that are playing for years, and we know how much they are generating within 2 to 3 to 4 years. So this is the first gap that we see. The second one is about channel diversification. And again, I mentioned it at the beginning. channel diversification right now it's too important to be ignored. I think nobody is ignoring channel diversification, but unfortunately, what I see is that we are missing that many app developers, game developers, they're missing a structure to do so, because when you do channel diversification, you need to have objectives, you need to have budget. Yevgeny said scale slowly, stop quickly, for example. And you need to know what are your objectives. And often mm, we just test for the sake of testing with not enough budget, with not the right goals in mind, because each channel has its own characteristic in terms of audience, in terms of creatives, which is very important. You need to use different creatives, but also in terms of KPIs. You cannot expect Meta to perform the same way as Unity or other games or other platforms. So this is very important. Having again a structure, a process for channel diversification, for testing new channels. I mean, we on one side we see the rise of rewarded ads. We see Uploading, which is one of the best channels for gaming, but it's not accessible. We have Meta, which has always been very strong for gaming, but they keep changing things in the algorithm. And if you rely too much on Meta without a structure, you can have surprises. So again, this is a big gap. And the third one is the creative production. Creative production, I think, is going to be big in 2026. We have app developers, game developers have all the tools necessary to do a great job. I think 90% of the users, also of the app developers, used AI in 2025 to produce ads. I am wondering who are these 10% that they didn't use AI in 2025, because I mean, where are they living? So yes, use AI, but have a structure. And I have an example of again the match 3 games that we have recently helped scaling. They were using the same ads for a while, and they couldn't scale. So we introduced a matrix to test different concepts, different hooks, different characters in the game, different call to action, different gameplays. And after testing and testing and testing with the help of AI, we reached to a concept that was working amazingly, helped us scale across different channels, across different countries. We just put different characters. I mean, our main target audience was we called them moms, the ones that are staying at home cooking, US moms, and we put this character with the help of AI that really helped us scale in the right way. But still, it was a process. It was, if you keep throwing ideas to your AI tool, probably you're gonna waste time. So this is the main gap that we see: structure and processes across these 3 areas of the gaming marketing gaming.
Okay, first of all, congratulations, Lorenzo, about the achievement.
I just monitor right here. My camera
Yeah,
is on
Lorenzo
video.
brings up about the structure, also the channel diversification. I think that's a new perspective here. Thank you, Lorenzo. And then next, I will ask Chatai. So, Chatai, social beta tracks global ad intelligence across markets and genres. Based on the data that you work with, like which ad patterns or creative directions are starting to scale across regions this year,
It's only 45
and what
minutes.
signals should publisher pay attention to when identifying the next creative style that could break out?
So thank you very much for this great question. Before I start, I would like to answer a question about the 10% who do not use AI. Some of the big publishers and advertisers and gaming industry has forwarded to using AI tools into their marketing team. So unfortunately, some of our friends cannot use these bright tools on their funnels. But I think that this is going to be changed next year because you need to keep up with the trend to be, you know, scalable on the market.
Now
Yeah,
it makes more sense. Thanks for solving
no
this big
problem.
question.
No problem. So for the main question, I would like to dig deeper into our creative intelligence, and I want to highlight two specific patterns that are scaling right now, and I would like to provide one crucial signal for where to look next. So for the first dominant pattern is what we call the minigame Trojan horse. We are seeing a massive surge in creatives that the feature gameplay completely different from the core product, as I provided an example in the first question. Specifically, the tower defense combined with inventory management, the bag mechanics, or mathematical gates are scaling across every genre, from RPGs to strategy games. So it's no longer just showing the gameplay, it's about the showing a specific, satisfying mechanics that lowers the cognitive load for the viewer. Uh, Second, we are seeing a shift towards the sensory hooks. So video is dominant, accounting for that, like 78% of the creatives on Android side is video. But the differentiator is now audio. So top performers like Royal Match are scaling ads that use diegetic sound, real, visceral sounds of action like metal balls falling, and rather than the generic background music. So this sensory layer creates an immediate physical reaction in players that visual only ads are missing. Finally, regarding the signals for next year breakout, if you want to spot the next big trend before it hits to US, watch the European market. So our data shows that Europe has the highest share of new monthly creatives at 46%. So while North America has volume, Europe is where the highest rate of creative turnover is happening. Publishers are testing their wildest concept at their first. And if you see a new format cycling in rapidly in UK or Germany, that is your signal is about to go global on our datas. That's all for this question, my side. And if you wonder more about these statistics and insights, I will be happy to share our report for 2025 about the mobile gaming industry.
Okay, thank you, Chatai. Okay, so it's more like to emphasize on experience, quality, narrative, creative. Wow, a lot, a lot. Okay, so Dravka, your turn. So you're the one support developers with long-term growth through monetization, optimization, like global publishing expertise. From your experience working with studios at different scales, what monetization or operational models have proven most effective in strengthening long-term retention while keeping the in-game experience safe, balanced, and profitable across global markets?
Thanks, Steffi. I think I touched a little bit this topic in my previous answer as well. So if you think about a game and what differentiates any title from the $1 million title, that will be the ability to constantly drive monetization and retention up. So retention and engagement is a key part of this. And if you look at Yoda One or the Supercells, Rovios on the market, you will see that there is a consistent pattern. So all successful games, they constantly drive and bring fresh content to the players. They keep the gamers engaged and they retain them. And at the same time, we place offers and sales which are very contextual and appropriate at the right time. So the end result of this is you can drive session lengths, probably double them. You can have most of the revenue during live events coming from those offers and those sales. And here comes a challenge, and the challenge is a very serious one. So if you're a small team with 10 people, can you build a great game? I think we're almost sure that a team can build a great gameplay. Then can this same team of 10 people run constant 24/7 data-driven operations, live events, like comply with all regional requirements, do the regional compliance, manage global stores, and do everything which is needed to efficiently run those live events? Probably not. And then the next question is, so for me, that opens the operational gap to run those live events and keep the players engaged and happy. And then the next question is, even if we have a big team of 50 people or more, they can do all this, they can run all these events, but sometimes there is a lack of business knowledge on running those live events. So here comes the business knowledge gap. And to answer the question which Mariella asked in the live chat, I think the successful live ops partners, if we may call it that way, or what we think will bring serious wins in 2026 is developers who are able to do data-driven decisions, to run scalable operations and set the necessary processes. As Lorenzo mentioned, we need to have those processes in place. And also the ones who have extensive business knowledge about running the events. And those will be the winning titles, which can retain and monetize well their players and respectively make the change from a short-term title to a long-term game on the market. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Drovka. So what you are describing really shows that monetization is not something added on top, but it's part of the retention loop. That's really great perspective. Like from the data, like teams that aligns early, like retention, progressions, and first monetization usually like perform better long term. And I really interested with the question. I think all of you guys need to answer this one, like from the chat. So it's from Mariella, from Vizio. Okay, so the question is, with so many live or aging mobile titles on the market, do you believe there are enough games that truly justify long-term live operations investment, or should some titles simply be allowed to sunset? For the games that are worth saving, what will be the key criteria in 2026 for choosing the right live operations partner, data capability, creative vision, risk share, or something else? Oh, long questions. Okay, maybe I want to ask Yevgeny, what do you think?
So I will cover the first part of the question, and I think there are some games that should be allowed to sunset because of trends, because the industry changes, because some genres that were popular back then are not popular anymore. So I would definitely allow to sunset. The second part of the question, if there are games that worth saving, what will be the key criteria for 2026? I think it's definitely live ops. About choosing the right partner, this is not my field, but definitely I think live ops and retention, as Rafka mentioned, one of the most important things in order to keep the game alive.
Okay, thank you, Yevgeny, for your perspective. Maybe Lorenzo?
I mean, this is a question that I can answer quite in a harsh way. There are too many games. That's the reality, and we cannot save them all. But this is a bit valid for all mobile apps. Do we need another dating app? Do we need another meditation app? Do we need another cooking app? No, we don't. But they are uh, rising every day. Games, mobile apps, non-game, everything. So I think at the end of the day, we really need to check what are the post-install metrics from a also from a paid UA perspective, because sometimes we get requests from leads, both gaming and non-gaming, and they want to invest, and we say, which might sound very stupid from an agency perspective, we say, yeah, but what are your post-install metrics? Because if it's a set for failure, we don't want to do it. So when it comes to save it or not, I check whether it makes sense, because you can throw money to Meta or other platform, but if the app doesn't work, it doesn't make sense. That's my perspective.
Okay, nice one.
Yes. And sorry, I saw the question from Noor. Yes, ASO is still relevant in 2026, quite a lot.
Always,
Also,
I
All
think.
right. What do you think, Kenny?
No, regarding the last question more. I think ASO will be relevant always.
always. It's
Okay,
sorry if I can add something to the last question. ASO is
please.
crucial. It's not important because it's again back to the silos optimization. It doesn't need to be taken as a standalone thing to do, but it's part of the growth process. So ASO is important, of course, for keyword discovery, because organically your app can be discovered, but also you need to think of ASO as your landing page for your ads. We can use custom product pages, so you can target the different users with different ads and send them to a different landing page, both for iOS and Android, and then give them the fancy way to say that it's seamless customer experience, but that's what it is. So yes, it's important for conversion rate, for organic discoverability, for in-app events on iOS, live ops, this kind of thing. Very important, Noor. Thanks for the question. Sorry, I shut up.
It's totally okay. We still have time. So, Chatai, how about from the data perspective and also the creative side about the questions? The long one, yeah? The long one first.
Yeah, I have two questions in here. So for the first questions, I think what should I recommend to indie publishers into new creative directions? So for mid-size and indie publishers, validation is more important than the volume. And you cannot afford to produce like 123 ads a month just to see what sticks. So you need a sniper approach. So based on our data, I recommend a three-step low-cost validation framework before you scale a single dollar. So the first, you can use this Android sandbox strategy. So our data shows that top advertisers like Royal Match used 75% of their ad creatives were on Android. And why? Because Android is the perfect testing ground for videos. So you can validate your minigame or CGI hooks cheaper and faster there. So once a creative proves its CTR Android, then you can port it into iOS, and valid stakes and CPRs are higher. So second, validate on gaming networks, not the social feeds, not just the social feeds. So indies often make the mistake of testing only on Facebook or TikTok. But if you look at the top charts of our report, you can see the giants like Monopoly, Go, Royal Match heavily leveraged networks like Applavin, Wangle, and Integral. So why is this important for validation? Because users on these networks are already playing games, and if your new gameplay hook works on Applavin, it validates the mechanic. If it works on TikTok, it might just validate the meme, you know. So for a new creative direction, you want to validate the mechanic first. And the third and last, you can use Europe as your stress test. So we mentioned that Europe has the highest turnover of new creatives. For an indie, this is a metric to watch in reverse. So if you launch a new creative concept in tier 2 European country, and it maintains a performance for more than 7 days, in that high churn environment, you have a global winner. So if it burns out in 3 days, which is common there, so do not spend budget scaling it to the US. So recommendation is the test on Android. You can prioritize your networks on the SDK side, and you can use Europe high turnover environment to stress test longevity. So this will ensure that when you finally push the scale button, you are betting on verified winners. So this is my explanation for the first question. The second is not that complicated. It's an important topic because with AI, overproduction is real trap. You can create, a lot of empty calories with zero retention on the market. So for the avoid this, we can advise to shifting focus to emotional consistency rather than just the visual volume. So, for example, Royal Match ads are successful because they trigger tension and panic. In contrast, King Shot works by triggering tactile satisfaction and curiosity. So the mistake teams makes using AI generate a panic ad for relaxing game. So this creates a disconnect with the users and players. So you need to tag your players and creatives not just by format but the emotion. And all in all, the actionable advice is on the AI side. Do not let your AI tools to run while on art side of the creative. Constrain them into the instruction and focus on generating variations of gameplay demonstration or intellectual challenges. And these are the signals that to really connect the UA to gameplay experience, ensuring the users who clicks the ad who stays. So, thank you.
Wow, a long explanation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but that's really a good point. Like, don't play with only the visual, but with their emotion. I really like that one. Okay, Drovka answered this before, but do you want to ask another thing, Drovka?
I think we covered this one well. Thank you.
All right. So before we move to another questions from the participant, I want to ask last question from my side. So as we look ahead to next year, what is one actionable change mobile game teams could make right now to improve their marketing and retention results heading into 2026? Let's start with Drovka.
Thanks, Steffi. If I need to highlight one single thing which we monitor in 2025 and studios need to change 2026, that will be tear down the wall between product marketing teams, because today what we see is like marketing takes care of user acquisition, product takes care of engagement and retention, monetization sits somewhere in between. So I think someone already mentioned that earlier. Those teams still work in silos. if we break those silos and they sit down together, they look into the same data, and marketing knows why a player turns on day X, and then product knows how marketing attracts users with what creatives, what types of ads, what types of links or ads the player actually clicked on, that will create a very powerful cycle. And actually, this is the difference between successfully managing marketing and doing it by accident. So that's what I would focus on. This is what we do internally in Yoto One and what we see in other successful publishers and developers doing. And at the end of the day, the goal is to be able, as I shared at the beginning, like our mission is to actually deliver great games, great experience, keep the players happy, and help developers as well thrive for the long run. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Zdravka. Make the players happy. That's really a good one. All right, next. Chatai.
So, thank you very much for the question. So, for 2026, the most actionable teams can make right now is to stop treating like iOS and Android as a single audience. So nobody actually doing it, but you need to implement a platform bifurcation strategy. So when we look our data, we can see completely two different ecosystem emerging. So first, you can look at your format mix. If you are running heavily video only strategy on iOS, you might be missing an opportunity because our data shows that iOS still retains a significantly higher share of static image creatives at 23%. Compared to Android, Android is heavily dominated by the video. The actionable move is here to increase your static image production specifically for iOS campaigns, and especially for hardcore genres, which dominates the platform with a 35% of the share. And do not waste those impressions on videos if the data shows the static image still convert there. Second, audit your creative duration. So we analyze the millions of ads to find out the golden duration. So it's obviously is 15 to 30 seconds, which accounted for like 43% of all video creatives. If your team is producing 60 seconds storytelling ads, I think you should cut them down. And if they are making 6-second loops, so you can expand them. So the market has standardized around like 15 to 30 seconds window. So my advice for next year is simple: audit your creative library, and if your mix is identical across both platforms, you are inefficient. So lean harder into video for Android and test more statics on iOS, and edit your videos, hit that 15 to 30-second benchmark. So.
All right, so technical. Like deliver high quality creative in different platforms. Wow, technical. Okay, so Lorenzo, your turn.
I'd be brief. The question was if there is one thing, right? I don't believe in magic potions. So those are all very good tactics and I love them, but it really depends on the type of game, on the type of market, on everything. So if there is one thing I can suggest is follow the process. So have a process to implement the tactics, because otherwise you're not gonna succeed. And Zroka mentioned it correctly. You need to achieve success not by accident. So follow the process to do so.
Are you done?
Done. Yeah. I'm done. I told you I'd be brief this time.
Okay, follow the process, guys. Not only the result, right, Lorenzo?
That was my take.
Okay, FJD, your turn.
First of all, I agree with all, especially with Lorenzo. There is no magical formula. And Zdravka also mentioned that the gap between the product and the marketing, the wall, should be deleted. And I couldn't agree more on that. So if I can point on some small thing that UA teams can change right now, it's make the user come back from day one to day two. What do I mean by that? Sometimes user acquisition problems, it's not really user acquisition problems, it's a product problem. You can buy users, you can spend budgets, hustle, but if the user leave after the first session, so everything becomes like expensive and unstable. So the practical goal is measure day one to day two and improve it. You don't need to do some big features or some big improvements, maybe some small daily reward strike, some things, but that it's matter. I see in many games that those daily strikes and those daily spins are meaningless in the game. So it has no point. Don't trick the users. Give them some real value to come back the next day. Once you improved your day one to day two, things will, in my opinion, look much better. And I think this is one of the fastest way to improve marketing performance and retention in 2026.
Okay, thank you. More reward, valuable thing to do. All right. Unfortunately, we run out of time, so I think that's better to the speakers to leave their working email in the chat, so everyone that want to ask can ask to you directly or connect through the LinkedIn for sure. So thank you all for sharing those insights. We'll now move to the end of today's sessions. I would like to thank to our panelists, Yevgeny from Torox, Lorenzo from Reblog, Chatai from Social Beta, and Drovka from Yoda One Games for sharing such practical and thoughtful insights. Also valuable a lot. If there's one key takeaway from today, I think like winning in mobile game marketing in 2026 will be less about doing more and more about doing the right things better. So on behalf of Social Beta and Fox Data, thank you to everyone who joined us today. I would like to, if you guys want to connect with today's speaker on LinkedIn, don't forget, and also like follow their page, their social media for future sessions and insight, especially Social Beta. And thank you again for your time and participation. We hope today's discussions give you practical ideas that you can apply immediately as you plan for 2026. You may now close the window. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.